So, what the hell is happening at Raw? The past few weeks on Monday Night Raw have been kind of weird. Obviously, there have been some hype segments, like, for example, the AJ stuff. The previous week on Monday Night Raw, AJ and CM Punk versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. That program has been mostly okay, but there has been some, let's say, decline in terms of the urgency and how exciting some of these storylines feel. So why don't we try to discuss all of them, or at least the most important ones, in my opinion? So the first one I want to discuss is the whole thing with the Judgment Day right here. Now the thing is, the Judgment Day has been kind of in trouble. They have been doing this whole breaking up storyline for over a year right now. The problem, obviously, when they did it last year, it was just they broke away from Rhea and Damien, and they kind of had their singles runs, didn't some success, some not as much. But since then, Judgment Day has been feuding with each other pretty much, but not like on TV, not having actual matches. They're just doing these weird backstage segments. Now, the Judgment Day always has some segments, whether it's backstage or it's in the ring, that showcases their personality and showcases their really good chemistry as a faction. But right now, they're really just kind of like going around in circles. They're not really doing much. Obviously, they want to do something with the whole Grande Americano thing happening. Having that influence maybe what is possibly going to be a final definitive breakup. But we've heard this before. I really have a hard time believing that Judgment Day is going anywhere anytime soon, at least. So I really don't know what the hell's going on with them, because Dom is probably the most over guy in the group right now, but he's definitely the heel in this situation, which is weird because earlier in the year, Finn was by far the heel. He is the one that brought in Roxanne to try to woo Dom, but because Liv had to go away, Liv Morgan was injured, they kind of paused that storyline. They haven't really done any segments with Roxanne. They maybe like a couple of lines here and there. I assume as soon as Liv returns, which I think is soon-ish, at the farthest is going to be at the Rumble. We think. I assume as soon as Liv returns, he's just going to go back to doing the storyline that they probably wanted to do in the first place. But right now, I really have no idea who the hell are we supposed to root for here? Because Dom is being an asshole. He's going in behind the group's back with El Grande Americano, but he's by far the most over. And Finn he always has his face mocking Dom and wanting him to lose that IC championship. But also, he returned to NXT last night, or on Tuesday, and everyone loved him. He was good old Finn, the Prince again. So there's a possibility to go with either of them as the babyface. I really don't know which direction they're gonna go. Finn and JD are still tag champs, but JD is always usually on Dom's side. I don't know what they're doing with Raquel as well. Like, if Liv comes back, is she gonna stay with Roxanne? Is she gonna try to be at Liv's side? I still have no idea. I think there's a lot of possibilities, and again, for a while, Judgment Day has been a consistent storyline. It's just at this precise moment, I don't see how they get out of this in a way that makes sense and is satisfying for everyone involved. So another thing that has been going on this past few weeks was the whole thing with Bailey and Lara Valkyria. Now, of course, this goes back to their feud they had kind of like alongside with Becky for the IC championship. And the thing with them is that, obviously we saw Bailey went away for a little bit. Now she has this weird character shift, this weird double personality or triple personality, I guess, kind of thing. Of course, this last Raw, we saw her help Lyra in the ring and hugging everyone, and then backstage she's a dick, which is, I guess, her golden role model version. So, what are we supposed to get out of this? Because obviously they're gonna be feuding, but are we supposed to, like, when this is all said and done, what place is there for Bailey? Because she has done everything, and she has been a face. Obviously, she has been a heel. She was a face after being a heel, but in a completely different character. So them doing this reversal of her two previous characters, basically, but only like in her actions, not in her presentation. I really doubt that she's gonna come with the wavy inflatable tube, man. It would be cool. That'd be neat to see. I really doubt they're gonna go that far. Um, Ideally, this would be another launching point for Lyra if they want her to be on that next level main eventer. In the women's division, getting a clean win over Bailey, although she already has. So I don't know how much is this feud gonna help, unless maybe they go back to being a tag team after this. Maybe they're gonna go back around to the IC Championship after whatever's going on with AJ and Becky Lynch. So that is a possibility. It is a weird character trait that they're doing with Bailey right now, but I still think it's a cool thing that they're doing. And it could lead to something cool. Again, it could be that next launching point for Lyra if they really want her to be at that high position. But I guess we'll have to wait and see for that to materialize in any way, shape, or form. Now, probably the biggest thing that has been happening on Raw, at least the most marquee thing, is the stuff with Seth, Becky, Punk, and AJ Lee. Now, out of the YouTube clips of this past Monday Night Raw, this one has by far the most views. People are interested in everything that has to do with Punk and AJ Lee, and I think the feud has been really serving them to do something cool at WrestlePalooza. But the thing is, the segment a couple of weeks back in SmackDown was cool. When AJ returned, when she started punching Becky Lynch, and then the following segment on Raw, when she, gave her a little bit more, they had that higher promo. It is interesting, or it was interesting a couple weeks back in the previous week. But right now, it just kind of feels like they're doing more of the same, right? The thing with CM Punk, and this is really true with everyone, not just him and not just AJ. Actually, they're probably one of the better ones at this, is that they really need some good, solid material. And the past few weeks are definitely like since the summer, since losing to Seth at SummerSlam, with the cash in, CM Punk has kind of been very subdued. You think he's gonna bring this fire in him because he's CM Punk, but I think he has found himself in some sort of safe zone or some sort of just. I think it really shows that he's happy to be there, and he's happy to feud with Seth, and he doesn't have a chip on his shoulder. But best CM Punk is a chip on his shoulder CM Punk, in my opinion. I still love seeing him on TV. Everything he says in the mic is at least, interesting, or it doesn't bore you. He never bores anyone with his promos. Same with AJ Lee. And Seth and Becky are really funny together as a heel couple. Definitely way better than they were back in 2019 when they were a face couple. But they're not really doing much with this. They're not doing the championship thing that I was kind of thinking maybe they could do. So this is just an exhibition. So other than the novelty of seeing AJ Lee back, there's really not much of a reason to watch this match at WrestlePalooza. I assume the baby faces are going to be winning, and then we're going to have our singles championship matches, maybe at the next PLE, I assume Crown Jewel and Perth in Australia. So I guess we can be looking forward to that. But for WrestlePalooza, which is the big event that they're building, or that they're trying to build, that they're supposed to be building to, the launch of WWE on ESPN in the United States, they're not doing that much with that, or they're not really generating that much excitement and interest. Yeah, the matches are cool, the names are high profile names, but at least this storyline, which is basically the A storyline on Raw, there hasn't been that much movement other than, these two being assholes and the other two being a kind, nice, cool couple, which is cool to see because, again, as a fan of everyone involved, really, but as a fan of CM Punk and AJ Lee, it's really good to see them happy on screen at the same time together. But I really do think they should try to do something more, whether it's face some adversity, have them both turn heel. I don't think Seth and Baker are turning face anytime soon, but do something with their characters that forces them to have some urgency in their pursuit for. Maybe once they actually pursue the titles, that's gonna be it. But at least for the build for WrestlePalooza, it feels kind of cold at the moment. So, what do you guys think of these recent Monday Night Raw events? Let me know everything, you guys. All your opinions, let me know down in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and have a good one.